Hi, this is Mary Kay at Backbone Valley Nursery in Marble Falls, Texas. We're here for another episode of Ask the Experts. I've had a lot of people have interest in our air plants here, and they want to know how to take care of them, so I thought I'd go over some of the care instructions with you today. Air plants are actually tillandsias, which is a member of the bromeliad family or pineapple family. In nature, they grow on trees. Their roots serve to attach themselves to trees. They don't give anything to the tree, nor do they take anything away from the tree. They just use it for support. Therefore, they're getting all of their water and nutrients from whatever's in the air. So I'm going to show you how to keep them hydrated and fertilized. They're interesting little plants. They, like other bromeliads, when they bloom, the mother plant eventually will die. Well, before, during, and after bloom, the mother plant will be producing little pups or babies at the bottom. And when the babies get about a third the size of the mother plant, you can actually separate them from the mother plant and they will grow on their own. Many varieties have interesting traits, such as they will turn a little purple right before they bloom. Here's one that has little purple tips on the leaves. It will turn a little bit of purple before they bloom. The babies will be formed at the base of the plant, right here at the bottom, and you'll see them coming out from between the leaves here. To separate the babies, you can either twist them and pull down, or you can take sharp scissors and cut them as close to the mother plant as possible. The watering on these plants is very simple. You can miss them in between waterings, but I recommend 2 to 3 waterings a day. And you'll just need a tub or a container of water. It needs to be bottled water, but not distilled, because distilled has no nutrients in it. You can use tap water that you've let to sit out so the chlorine will have evaporated. But it just needs to be, the chlorine needs to be out of it, or it needs to be bottled water or spring water. And you take your little air plant, you'll dip it in the water, pull it out, shake it a little bit, and put it back up where it belongs. See, right in here. The grassy leaved varieties, such as this one that I showed you, probably dry out a little bit faster and may need more often, say 3 times a week dipping in water. It's so easy. If you have a tub with a lid on it that you can keep your water in, just pull it out, dip your plants in the water, let them drip, and set them back in here. Now, the most important thing is you don't want to mount them in anything that's going to hold water. For instance, here's a nice little terrarium, hanging terrarium. You would never water that in there, because if this bottom were to sit in water in here, it would rot. So you take it out, dip it in the water, let it drip so you don't end up having water in here for it to sit in, and then you can place it back. You can even put a little bit of moss in the bottom of here so it's up off the base. If you want to mount them on the driftwood, they're very easily mounted. You can drill holes in the driftwood. Make sure that you drill the holes all the way through so that when you put them back, when they're moist or have water dripping off of them, they don't collect water and sit in that water. So you can drill holes. This one actually has some holes that are already there. And again, you just dip them in the water, let them drip, and set them back on there. Now, if you wanted to glue them on, you could do that as well. We have a T1000 glue. It's a quick hold glue. It's made especially for the bromeliads. It won't harm the plant, and it holds very fast. If you had it on a piece of driftwood such as this, and they were glued on outside, you could just, with your hose and your water breaker, you could just water them with that 2 to 3 times a week. Many people like to keep their air plants outside, which is fine. They prefer 50 to 80 degrees, but I've seen them do all right in higher temperatures as long as you're watering them often enough. If you're keeping them inside, locate them near a window, a east, west, or south window. Within 3 feet of the window is best. You want bright indirect light or filtered light. You don't want it to be directly in the sun in central Texas, but just bright enough. They do like bright light. They do bloom, which is really, really cool. And as I said, the mother plant takes her time to die after she blooms. So it could take months, it could take a year, depending on the species. But some of the blooms are even fragrant. Most of them are very pretty. They can be pinks and purples. Very interesting plant to grow. I think this is something that orchid enthusiasts would like to grow. Fairly low maintenance. If you fertilize them, you can use this air plant fertilizer, specially made for air plants. If you don't have this, you can use a very dilute houseplant fertilizer, about 1/4 the regular rate. This is really nice because you just spray it on. And I would say after you water, if you say watering twice a week, you can fertilize these twice a week. Water them, put them up, and as they're absorbing the water that you've put on them, they will absorb the fertilizer at the same time. They actually have little scales on them they're microscopic. On these little gray leaves, there's little scales that will absorb the moisture and nutrients for the plant. That's how they've adapted in nature. So I hope this has answered some of your questions about air plants. There are many different ways to display them. We have little cholla trunks that you can just set them in like this. They're very cute that way. We have little blocks of wood with wire on it that you can set them in. As I said, we have some gorgeous little pieces of driftwood here that you can set them on, even the larger ones. If they start out small, they will eventually get quite large. And these you can buy in the smaller sizes as well, and they will get bigger and bigger. Many of them will form clumps, which is really, really pretty. So I hope if you have an interest in these, you will understand that they're not hard to keep. They're not hard to grow. They can be very beautiful additions to your home. Thanks for watching us, and we'll see you next week.